Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with this week's Rogue Deck of the Week. I've made a couple of changes to this deck. I've added War Falcons. I just think that War Falcon works very well in this deck as everything is basically a knight or a soldier, and having this first turn 2/1 flyer that is basically going to attack almost every time on turn 2 is very good. I also like Doom Traveler. Even though Pillar of Flame is a card, Doom Traveler is a 2-for-1 a lot of times, and it is a human soldier, so it works with the War Falcon, and you get a spirit, a 1/1 flying spirit token. I just one of the better cards in the format that hasn't been played a lot lately because of the prevalence of Pillar of Flame. Then again, the 4 of Champion of the Parish is definitely an auto-include, one of the strongest cards in this deck. Everything is a human in this deck except for the Angel of Jubilations and the War Falcons, I believe. Yeah, everything else is a human, so he basically gets evolved every time any one of your cards comes out. So great card. Boros Elites, this card I am so-so. It's okay. Sometimes it does get the +2/+2. This deck a lot of times doesn't try to overwhelm is what I've been. Maybe I'm playing it differently than the original deck builder's intentions, but cards like Daring Skyjack and Boros Elite, a lot of times I'm actually winning with a Silverblade Paladin, like paired to a Sky Knight or paired to a big Champion of the Parish. Or Precinct Cap is awesome if it's paired with a Silverblade Paladin. But I have actually won with a Battalion Trigger before, having a bunch of Boros Elites and whatnot. But I'm almost under the impression that War Falcon or more Doom Travelers are better than Boros Elites. Something I'm trying to get the numbers right with. Anyway, another amazing card. The whole reason why we are splashing blue is for Feeling of Dread. This is amazing versus the other aggro decks. It makes you win against decks like Wolfir Silver Smash or RG aggro or kind of the Sato aggro, Naya Blitz type decks, because you can just tap down their dudes, tack in, tap down their dudes, tack in, and it's just, you just race them. You kind of ignore blocking, you ignore defense and just go completely on the offense, and you can race them. And Feeling of Dread makes that possible. I already talked about Daring Skyjack. It's a decent card. A 3/1 for 2 is okay. This is another card that's not the greatest. It can get flying with Battalion, but it's very vulnerable. Another card, yeah, if I can find a better replacement, I definitely put it in. I was thinking about maybe Boros Reckoner instead, but that takes down my human count and takes down the soldier knight count, so I don't know. We might just have to completely change the deck around if I were to put Boros Reckoners in here. But Boros Reckoner is just an insane card, and I hate not including it, especially how, I mean, everything in this deck taps for a white. Then we have Precinct Captain. This card's very good. Again, this is another card that helps us with the aggro matchups. It blocks basically everything and kills it. And then on the on the offense, you add little 1/1 white soldier tokens, which is always a plus. You can then overwhelm them with your soldier tokens. Thalia is great right now. The original person had 4 of. I've never liked a deck with 4 Thalias. I think 3 Thalias is the right number. You never want to have Thalias stuck in your hand. A lot of decks right now, Thalia is great against, like Esper Control, and I would even say the Unburial Rights decks, because it takes it makes them another turn before they can cast their own Burial Rights, and it'll help you in the sideboard. It'll help you find your other pieces to, like Rest in Peace and Dried Militant, to help against that. Fiend Hunter's amazing right now. It does die to Searing Spear. I really wish Honor the Pure was in this format right now, but we have to use Angel of Jubilation since Honor the Pure is not in the format. And unfortunately, Angel of Jubilation is also Searing Spear food, but it's the best we have right now. It's actually a good card. It's awesome when you pair it with a Silverblade Paladin. You'd have 2 3/3 double strikers. Yeah, Sky Knight's amazing. One of the reasons why this deck splashes blue. And of course, Moorland Haunt is the other reason. Gives all the cards in the graveyard some utility. And against like control decks, this gives you the range to actually beat them. So I'm really liking this deck. It's put up very good numbers in my playtesting so far. Like I said, it does very well against the aggro and mid-range aggro decks, as you can just a lot of times just outrace them and then throw down like a Silverblade Paladin paired to like a Sky Knight, or even like a Champion Parish that's up to like a 4/4, and a lot of times you can just swing in for insane amounts of damage. So onto the sideboard, Dried Militant comes in versus the Unburial Rights decks. It exiles Unburial Rights, which is awesome. Also comes in versus Esper Control. I don't like it main board. The original builder of this deck did put it main board, but I exiled a Feeling of Dread once, and it was an awful feeling. Awful feeling. Haha. Get it? Anyway, there's my pun for the day. So I put him out sideboard, and it would come in against the decks that you wouldn't want Feeling of Dread in anyway. So yeah, you swap out Dryad Militants for the Feeling of Dreads, and you're good to go. I have negates in here versus, again, Unburial Rites, again, against Esper Control. It doesn't hit Supreme Verdict, but it hits like their Sphinx's Revelation, hits even like a Sorin, hits a lot of cards. Negate's just great. If you're playing blue, you might as well play it. Dispel would be another option, but I think Negate's just more versatile. Rest in Peace, pretty self-explanatory. Any graveyard strategy. For only a minute, it comes in versus the mid-range. I do not bring it in versus the aggro. I bring it in versus like Thragtusk decks, as you can just constantly swing into it and not fear losing any of your creatures. More Fienders come in against the aggro, and Riders of Gavony come in against both aggro and mid-range, especially if they are a creature-type deck, like zombies. You can basically shut their entire deck down a lot of times with Riders of Gavony. The only problem, again, I'm having with this card is it is another 3/3 that dies to Searing Spear. So Searing Spear is public enemy #1 with this deck, but so far so good. It's put up, like I said, put up pretty decent numbers against the RG aggro lists. We're about 50-50 with them. I even say slightly above that. I haven't played against Jund yet. I've played it against Unburial Rites, against the Crater of Behemoth version, and against the Humans version. And it seems okay, especially if you hit a Rest in Peace. They have a hard time dealing with that, of course. But a lot of times against even the Burial Rites decks, you can actually outrace them with a fast draw with like Champion the Parish into Precinct Captain into Silverblade Paladin into Angel of Jubilation, and then they are really on the defensive. So anyway, that's the gist of the deck. I'm really liking it. It's a cool little rogue deck. I'm glad I found it on the MTGO site, where the standard premier results, where this deck I believe took 5th. I'll have to recheck. Anyway, I have the video up. But have a lot of fun with this deck. This is Kevin from RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.